Okay, I'd like to share some ideas on how to make your own Christian tracts. Making tracts can be fun and interesting, and it's a great way to witness the gospel. The first thing I want to explain to people is to all of you that there's really no right or wrong way to make a Christian tract. Um, just as an example, let's say you've written something and you want to share it with people. Well, you simply could just write it out on a word processing document and hand it out as a handout. That's what I've done here. Okay, and but if we wanted to make this into something that's a little more portable and maybe a little smaller or easier to handle and save on printing costs and so on, I wanted to show you how to convert some text into sort of a brochure kind of a format. What I've what there is there's this application that I've been using lately, and it's called Open Office. What I like about it is that it's free. It's a free download, and it works on a Macintosh or an IBM computer, and it has the capabilities you need to make a brochure or what I would call a folding tract. Basically, you need to find some kind of app that allows you to draw lines and also allows you to work with something called a text box. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do first of all is just make a very, very simple format here. This is just like a brochure. What you want to do is, this is Open Office, and there's all kinds of tools, but I'm only going to use a couple of them, as you'll notice. The first thing I'm going to do is click down here and get the line tool. Okay, and what I'm going to do is divide my page up. This side is the page over here, and I'm going to basically just by eye divide the page up into 3 columns. And the way to do that is just simply to draw a couple of lines. So we're just going to draw 2 lines down the page, and just roughly by eye divide the page into 3 different columns. Okay, so this is 1, 2, and 3 right across. All right. Now this kind of a thing, and if you print that, of course, it's going to look something like this. I don't know if you could see those lines on there, but there's just 2 lines running down the page. In fact, what I'd like to show you is I've numbered them like this. So as you can see, this is page 1, 2, and 3 straight across. And what you want to do is just print it and make sure you got enough space and it looks good. Those lines are only there for folding purposes. What you're going to do is fold the tract so that page 1 comes up in the front. So it's sort of like a small brochure. Okay, and there's a couple different ways you can fold it even. Now the next thing we need to do is get some text put into this layout here for a thing. So with OpenOffice, you click this little button down here that says that's a capital T, and you can get the ability to draw out a text box. And what you do is click, hold the mouse down, and you draw this little box. And then this little square here is sort of like a little miniature word processing document. And you can type right into it, but as you type, it stays within the boundaries that you've drawn out. Now I want you to notice that as you type down to the bottom of it, it's going to keep on extending itself down. So once you've drawn it to the width of a column, you can just fill up the column with text as you go along. Okay? Now if you notice up here, you have choices for, just like in a word processing document, you choose the font, and over here the size, and also bold, italics, underline, so on. The size of the text is very important. Usually in a tract like this, I will usually use 12-point type or 10-point type. Okay. Now again, if you look at that, that looks awfully small, but we're in a mode here where we're seeing the whole page. Now there's what I typed, and it's a good size, and it fits right into there, into the column there. Okay. Now just to show you something else here. What if we want to add a picture to our tract? Okay, Now, with a Macintosh, you can just copy and paste it, but with the other computers, you may have to go up to the top of the page here. In one of the menus, there's a place where you can insert a picture, okay? And then you just have to find where you have that file of that picture, and it'll insert the picture. I'm going to just copy and paste this picture right into our little tract example, and when you get it, you'll notice that there's these little handles around the edges, okay? And if you grab it with the mouse, that is, if you click on it, you can move it all around the page wherever you want to put it, okay? And you can also grab the little handles and make the picture get bigger or smaller. And one little tip is, if you hold the shift key and grab this lower right hand corner, the picture will stay the same size and retain its proportions. So that's how you can put pictures in, and that's how you can do text. If you click on this text box, this also, if you click a second time, you get handles around the edges. As you can see, those little blue handles. What's great about text boxes is you can resize them, and as you resize them, the text will fit right in there. So you can do this any number of ways. If you've written your tract in a word processing document, you can also copy and paste the text right into it. In fact, let's copy and paste some text. I'm going to copy this, select it, that means drag through it. Now I'm going to copy it, bring it over to OpenOffice here, and click and paste it in there. Now as you notice, it's spread out wide, so all I have to do is grab this lower right hand corner and grab it down and make it fit basically into one of our columns like that. Now let's take a look at that up close. As you see, this is at 100% magnification. We fit the text right into the column. Now let's take a look at this tract, but as I put it together. So I've taken the text, and as you can see, let me bring it up to a bigger size so hopefully you could see it. I have the title, and of course I made the title text bigger, by selecting it. Each one of these is in a text box, so I can make this text bigger or smaller. You can always go back and edit these things as you go back. If you don't like something, you want to move it around, you can always go and change it. And so you see I changed the color of the type, and you can choose what font you want, and so on and so forth. And we made this little tract. Now this is a good way of doing things, but what we need to do also to give us more space is to create a second page for our tract. Okay? Now the way you do that is, well, let's see if I could find that. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is we're back to our 2 lines down the middle of the page there in 3 columns. In OpenOffice, if you go over to the side over here where there's the thumbnail representation of your page, and you grab the number 1 right there with your mouse, pull the page down and let go, you create a second page that's an exact duplicate of the first page. So with our tract, we have pages 1, 2, and 3 across this way. If you flip it over, you got pages 4, 5, and 6 on the back. A tract like this can hold a lot of information. Now, of course, you can make the print large if you want to make a large print tract, or if you've written a long tract, you can fit it into this kind of a brochure style. But I want to show you how you can very easily make this into a format that makes 2 tracts per page, and it's really as simple as drawing one more line down the middle of the page. So if we draw another line just like that, well, now we've created 2 tracts, one on the top and one on the bottom. And again, when you print this out, it's good to just test print the lines and save this as a format. Now you know how to save something as. If you go up to File and you find Save As, you give it a name that you're going to remember, like 2-tract format or 2-tract template, whatever you want to call it, and you can save it, so whenever you want to write a tract, you can go right in here and start writing. Now what I like to do is to do a second line. Okay, and I just drew a second line. Whoops, let me draw a second line right along this edge and give myself a little bit of a gutter space in the middle. The reason I like to do that in making 2 tracts is because printers don't always line up perfectly the same page. Now of course I would do this. I did this on the second page here, but which was wrong. I should have done this on one page, and then I could drag out the second page so it'll be an exact duplicate. But as you see, I did this right across and made this little gutter space so that when you print it, it'll come out so that you have a little, there's a little bit of a gap in between. And again, here's the page. I don't know if you could see this very well, but this is this printed out and front to back. And in this case, you'd have pages 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6 in each column. But you'd make an exact duplicate, and simply you can just do the tract across the top of one copy. Once you've got it looking good with pictures and text working the way you want it to, you just copy and paste it down to the second one, and you can make a duplicate copy. And then that gives you, saves you on printing costs. So for each page you print, you can make 2 tracts. You can continue this idea and do 3 tracts per page, which is again simply drawing 2 lines across, and I do it just by eye, just dividing it up into 3 sections. And as I said, test print it a few times. Make sure and see if the lines line up well and if it looks okay. And you'll find that even this format, you can fit quite a bit of text and pictures into this smaller format. I've done as many as 6 tracts on one piece of paper. So you can divide the page up as many times as you want, although it does get to be pretty small once you get past 3 or 4. Remember always that you can, the way to fit text into it is to change the size of the text. So if you were doing this page over here, and you wanted it to fit into a smaller tract, like for example we have this, you simply have to, you can make this any size you want right up here, and of course I have this at 12-point size, which is about as big as I usually do it. When I make a smaller tract, I can use 10-point text. You can also change the font, and different fonts will fit better into different spaces. So it's just a matter of just working at it until you fit the text into the columns that you drew at the beginning. So these are some ideas on how you can start your own tract ministry and get yourself going in writing and making tracts. As I said, here's the finished product of this tract, but done as a 2-page tract. As you can see, I have pages 1, 2, and 3 across here, and then a duplicate copy right underneath it. And if I jump over to page 2, this is pages 4, 5, and 6. And as you see, this stays this stood pretty well in the boxes fairly well, and it works well that way. And there's still plenty of room. I actually could have fit this into three tracts if I wanted to. So it's up to you how you move things around. It's actually a lot of fun making tracts, and I hope you have fun doing it too. Again, these are just some ideas to hopefully get you started in making your own tracts. As I said, the important thing is to find an application that gives you the ability to open up something called a drawing document. This is called a drawing document. There are a lot of ones that, a lot of different ones that'll get you one. But as I said, just recently I found this one called Open Office that works in a Mac or an IBM. What you want to do, as I said, is when you're done too, you may want to save it as PDF, okay, or export it as PDF, okay, and that's a good thing to do, because then if you want to share your tracts with other people through the internet, you can, and also you don't want other people to edit your tracts, you save it as PDF, and then you can send your tracts to other people through the internet. And if you want to send us your tracts, we have a website called tracts.com, which is made up mostly of tracts that people have made on their home computers and that they want to share with other people. And so you can start your own tract ministry, make your own tract website. It's great for witnessing the gospel, and I know that God wants us all to carry the gospel to everyone we meet, and tracts are a great reminder. It's a great thing that reminds you to help witness the gospel to people. So let's see, I think I covered all the ideas that I wanted to talk about. As you can see, these formats are very easy to work with, and by no means the way you could do things. There's a lot of ways. Some people like to turn the page long ways and divide it up that way. There's a lot of great ways to make a tract. Let's take a look at the finished product here. I guess you can see that, hopefully. And it has, what you would do is fold the tract so that the front cover comes up, and then you just would cut it right through the middle, and you make two copies just like that. Okay? And then when someone opens it up, they have it right across, and they can read the back. So it's a lot of fun making tracts, and I hope I give you some ideas about how you can do it. If you have any questions or we can help you in any way, just always feel free to write us at tracts.com, and you'll find our email address, which is tracts1@aol.com, and write us and send us the tracts that you've made. We make websites for people who make tracts, and we also like to encourage people to print their own and make their own right on their own computer. As I said, God will really bless you when you share the gospel. Thank you very much.